Hello everyone, my name is Olivia Wolf and I am the Program Director at IMCA. Today we are going to be reading a book called Owl Babies. We have our owl friend here to read with us, and then after we finish reading our book, we are going to make our very own owl craft. But first, we will read our book. Owl Babies. Once there were 3 baby owls, Sarah and Percy and Bill. They lived in a hole in the trunk of a tree with their owl mother. The hole had twigs and leaves and owl feathers in it. It was their house. One night, they woke up and their owl mother was gone. "Where's Mommy?" said Sarah. "Oh my goodness," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. The baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. "I think she's gone hunting," said Sarah. "To get us our food," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. But their owl mother did not come. The baby owls came out of their house and they sat on the tree and waited. A big branch for Sarah, a small branch for Percy, and an old bit of ivy for Bill. "She'll be back," said Sarah. "Back soon," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. It was dark in the woods and they had to be brave, for things moved all around them. "She'll bring us mice and things that are nice," said Sarah. "I suppose so," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. They sat and they thought. All owls think a lot. "I think we should all sit on my branch," said Sarah. And they did, all 3 together. "Suppose she got lost," said Sarah. "Or a fox got her," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. And the baby owls closed their eyes and wished their owl mother would come. And she came. Soft and silent, she swooped through the trees to Sarah and Percy and Bill. "Mommy!" they cried, and they flapped and they danced and they bounced up and down and on their branch. "What's all the fuss?" their owl mother asked. "You knew I'd come back." But baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. "I knew it," said Sarah. "And I knew it," said Percy. "I love my Mommy," said Bill. And that is the end of the book. So now that we have read our book called Owl Babies, we are going to make our owl craft here. But before we begin to make anything, I'm going to list all the materials that you will need. So what I'm going to be using for this owl's body is I have a paper plate, but if you don't have a paper plate at home, you could also use just like a piece of cardstock or construction paper as well. I have some feathers I'm going to use. I have a few different types of markers. I have scissors, and I also have glue. Now, once you get all of your items gathered, the first thing we're going to do, you can do this on if you're using your paper plate or a piece of construction paper, is right in the middle, I'm going to draw an oval shape for the owl's body. So I'm going to do a nice big oval, just like this. Now, once you have that drawn, we have to give him some pointy ears, just like in this example. So what I did for mine is I drew a half circle coming from the top of the oval, and I came right on down and did it so it connected to both sides, that half circle. So I will do that really quick and show you what it looks like after it's all done. So that's my half circle. And what I'm going to do now is take another marker and I'm going to trace the part of this oval that you will cut out in a black marker. So the black marker is what you are going to use for your scissors to cut out the body. Again, if you're using construction paper at home, you can do the same thing with the paper as I'm doing with this paper plate. And be sure that if you're going a little bit faster than I am while doing this at home, don't throw away the remainder of your paper plate because we're actually going to use the little scrap pieces for another part of the craft too. So as you can see, I have my body for my owl all cut out here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is pick a color, and you can pick any color you would like at home for your owl to be, and you're going to color in your little body here. But if you have if you're using like a piece of paper that already has a color on it, like let's say you have purple construction paper and you want to leave it purple, you can skip over this step. But I am going to color mine yellow for this. If you want to color multiple colors, you can do that as well. I might add in some orange to my owl here in a second. With my orange marker. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to color him all the way in as solidly as I did with this one. But at home, you can pause the video and take the time to color him in all the way if you would like to. So yeah, once you have him all colored in to where you would like his color to be, we'll move on to the next step. And the next step is going to be, we are going to take that scrap piece of paper plate that we're holding on to, and we are going to draw the number 8 on the piece of, on a part of the paper plate. And for this, I recommend if you have a lighter color like yellow or maybe like a light pink or just a lighter color to use that. And I'll show you why in a second. So I have my number 8 drawn onto my little piece of scrap paper, and you can kind of see it there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the outline of that number 8 to make his eyes. So here you can see that he has 2 eyes that are connected, and we're going to cut out that outline for his eyes. So by the time you're finished cutting this out, the 2 circles from your that was created by your number 8 that you are cutting out should still be connected. Almost done with mine, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. So here you can see it was the number 8 written, but then if you flip it over, this is the side we're going to use to make his eyeballs. So for this part, I just took a marker and made 2 dots for his eyes. And that'll be the eyes that we use for our other owl. So when you're gluing this on, you want to put glue on the side where if you had any marker lines, it's going to go on that side. And once you have it all glued on, this is how your owl should look so far. Now, after you have the body all cut out and colored and your eyes glued on, the next step we're going to do is to make it look like he has some feathers on him, like this guy, and then like the feathers of the owls on our book. We're going to do little half circle lines and little rows on the bottom part of the body. So for this one, I'm going to use red. And see if I can do this. You're going to just do like a half circle and go all the way across. Just like that. And they don't all have to look exactly the same, but we just want to do a couple of rows of this. That way it gives him a little more depth. And once you have that all done, it should look something like this. And now that we have his feathers all drawn on, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give him a beak, and we're also going to give him a little bit more coloring in his ears, just like in our example. So if you have an orange marker or whatever color you would like to use, you're just going to draw a triangle down underneath his eyes. Draw the outline like this, and then you'll color that in. Again, you don't have to use orange. I just am going to use orange for mine. And then you'll do the same thing up in his ears. You'll draw little triangle outlines. And then you'll color those in. And once you have those 2 steps done, if you look on the first example here, you can see I have some little feet at the bottom, some little toes sticking out there. That's going to be our next step. So you're going to use your scrap paper or your scrap paper or paper plate material again. cut off a little section to work with. And this time, you are going to write the number 3 2 times. Just like this. And then once you have both of those 3's written, you're just going to add one extra little ridge at the bottom here for both of those. So it should look like this when it's all done. And once you have that drawn, you can use a straight edge for this part, but you're going to connect this line to this line, just like that. So you'll go and draw your lines on, so they're all connected. Now, if you want his toes to be a different color than the rest of his body, you can color them in different. You can really choose whichever color you would like again. If you do a different color than his body, you might be able to see them a little bit better. They're a little hard to see on my first example because I did his toes and his body yellow. So this time I'm going to do some red toes so that you can see what it looks like on my second example. And you'll see how they stick out a little bit better. So right now I'm just cutting out the toes. And then once you have them all cut out, you will begin to glue them onto your owl. So this is how, once it's glued on, it'll look for one foot. And then we'll do the second foot as well. Just make sure that you put your glue on the colored side of the toes so that they can stick out a little bit like this. There you go. Now I'll do the second foot super quick. I'm going to glue these on. So that they look like this. And that is what both set of feet will look like after you are done gluing them all on. Now for this last step. I happen to have these cool little feathers here that I'm going to use to make wings for mine. But if you don't, you can still use that leftover scrap to cut out your own wings and glue them on there as well. But if you happen to have feathers at home, pick whichever colors you would like to go with your owl, and you'll glue them on. So I'm going to pick orange and pink. And what I did to give mine a little bit extra color in that first example is I glued 2 feathers on the front. So I put glue on both sides, right here and right here. And I'm just going to take my feather there and gently pinch it on. You can kind of pull it out to the side like this if you want it to look like his wings are flapping, but you don't have to. And you'll do the other side, same way. Just like this. And then lastly, if you would like him to have a few different colors in his wings, I put some glue on the back. And for these ones, I kind of did these feathers more at an angle so that they come out to the side and you can see the feathers sticking out from the orange feathers. And also, if you have super glue at home, tacky glue, or like a hot glue gun, these will go on a little bit faster. I'm using regular school glue, which works just as fine. You just have to let it dry a little bit more before you move your craft around too much. But once you're finished gluing everything on, this is what the finished project will look like. Very similar to the first. And that is how you make your owl craft at home. And that is all we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and tune in to our Facebook page for more videos coming this week.